Hi, I'm Nick Wiscons,
And I'm Shera Wiscons.
and we have been married for almost 5 years. Our anniversary is actually this month, but we've been together for about 10, and this is probably our fifth house that we've had together.
We have 2 kids with one on the way.
And I am a healthcare administrator.
And I am a marriage and family therapist.
So what made us decide to move in the first place? We actually relocated from Charleston, South Carolina. We have family here, and we had a young son who was at that age where we thought it'd be great for him to be around more family. We're both from the area, so lots of cousins, grandmas, grandpas, etc. in the St. Louis region.
And where did we start our search? We started our search in the O'Fallon, St. Charles, Lake St. Louis area. We knew we wanted to live in this area because of the school district and the family communities.
And this was not actually technically the first time building our home. We built a home in Charleston, but it was more of a market home that was in kind of the end stages, so we didn't get to do a lot of the choosing of things, but it was a newly built home that we lived in.
And we have lived in this house almost a year and a half now. And what ultimately brought us to building this floor plan, the LaSalle, was the way it was open. I've always wanted a house that had kind of an L layout with the dining room, the kitchen, and the living room all being in an L. And as soon as we saw this, or I saw this floor plan, I knew that this is the house that we wanted. And no other builder had this floor plan.
And the reason why we laugh a little bit about who saw the floor plan is I actually was not convinced about getting a ranch. But Shera and Sherry, our sales agent, were able to kind of show me different models, different ways to make it seem much more open. I was used to more 2-story or story and a half that had the opportunity to have some bigger rooms, but this ended up being a very, very open floor plan that we were looking for.
And I would say what made McKelvey stand out from other builders was the ability to make it our own. So we could customize a lot more than what we could with other builders. And when we're building a house, what we like is not going to be what other people like. And so that really moved me and sold me on McKelvey. What about for you?
I think the other thing that was certainly nice, but also just as we walked through other houses that were being built by other builders, McKelvey's house they felt better. They felt like they were better built, frankly, and it was little things like the sites weren't as messy as some of the other builders, and you could just tell in some of the structural things that they put more effort into it and focused a little bit more on attention to detail. There was one sales house that we went in with another builder, and there was literally things falling off the cabinets, and this was their sales house.
And the walls were all crooked.
Yeah. And so it was just, it just really actually kind of surprises, blew us both away, because like I said, we had a built house in Charleston, and we didn't even feel that the quality of that house was at the same level as this one. So we were very happy to see that.
Were there any obstacles you faced building a new home with us?
Just all the decisions that had to be made.
And how were they resolved?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, I think the whole process was really good. First, there was some structure to it that had deadlines for decisions, and that certainly helped me make some decisions. I think Sherry, our sales agent, took the time to go through a lot with us. Sherry was very, very detailed, I think, in what she was looking for, and Sherry spent the time. I don't know how many hours we spent sitting in her office going through the build, but I think that, and then when we met Terry, the building superintendent, he seemed to care. I mean, he got it, and it wasn't like he was just trying to go through the motions to get this built. He really wanted to build us the house that we wanted.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say that any obstacle that we faced didn't really feel like an obstacle because it felt like Sherry and Terry were building it with us. And so it was a collaboration instead of us and them. So I felt like they were on our team. So any challenge that we faced together, and that was really refreshing. How would you say the new home has improved your life?
Well, I mean, I think we're happy to be in St. Louis. We're happy to be back with family. The house contributes to that, and that we have the opportunity to entertain here. It's an open floor plan, so when we have family or friends, it's everybody's together. They're not off in different rooms. Kids playing in the backyard. This is a great neighborhood, just in general with the neighbors, but also with kids, and lots of kids to play with out in different parts of the streets, and not in the streets, but just around the neighborhood. And I think it's just, I feel much more at home here, frankly, than I have in many of the other places that we've lived.
I would say for me, it's improved my life because it's the first time I'm in a house or in a home where everything is the way that I want it. And that's part of building. And so everything that we have here in this house was a choice. And if we didn't like what it was in the floor plan, then we changed it a little bit. So we had that freedom and option to make it exactly what we want. So that puts a smile on my face all the time. And that's new for me.
What about you, new home, do you like the most? Is there a particular room? I don't know that I have a particular room. I like I think our bedroom ended up to be a very comfortable room. I think we have a lot of windows. We intentionally kind of expanded and made bigger the windows in the back wall. I like that a lot. We have a detention pond in the back, so it has some view. But I think that the openness and within the house, but also with the windows.
I like the windows the most, with all the lighting that it brings in, the natural lighting that it brings in, and the options that we had to have the big transoms and lots of windows, and as well as the quality of materials that we picked out. It feels like a very well structured house and with good quality materials inside. And so I think those are my two favorites about this house.
Has McKelvey exceeded our expectations? Should I answer that? Because I'm laughing, I guess I should.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm laughing is because we have very high expectations.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I was wondering why you were laughing.
No, truthfully, we did have, as we were going through the selection process, some bumps in the road. But what was great is really, to Shera's earlier point, is that we worked through all that stuff together with Sherry and Terry. So that was wonderful. Would I say they've exceeded our expectations? I'd say at a minimum they've met them, and that says a lot, because again, we do have very, very high expectations. But if I look at the quality of the house, and do I ever doubt that this is a well-built house? Absolutely not. So that alone is definitely exceeding expectations.
Yes, I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and I never once felt through this process that they were looking at me like that. And when I wanted something, or if I wasn't satisfied with something, they would just say, okay, let's figure out what will make you happy. And we've been in this process before where there were people who said things about how I just needed to let go of my expectations. And so with the McKelvey family, we did not experience that. So they have definitely met my expectations.
Which is a big deal.
What would be the main reason you'd refer or recommend McKelvey to your friends? I would say the biggest reason would be the friendships that I have felt through this process. Our sales agent, Sherry, has been wonderful. She's a part of our community still and a part of our lives. And the superintendent has become a friend as well. And, we can call him or text him about stuff that we have questions about at any time, and he's there.
I think the obvious one, if you want a well-built house, would definitely be one that I would suggest. I like the fact that they used unions from a worker standpoint. I think that says something too. I think it's good to support that. So certainly just the quality and the craftsmanship, but I think to Shera's point, also the relationships. I think McKelvey actually makes an effort to not just build homes, but to build a neighborhood. I think that's evidenced by Sherry and some of the things she promotes, and so those things matter. So I think it's a combination of, if you're looking for a home and a well-built home, I think that's why I would recommend them.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody that listens to you and is on your side.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to add or mention?
No. I mean, I think we've said it through the process. We said it, I hope we portray it in this testimonial. It was not a flawless process for us, but it was a great process for us because of the people that we worked with. And I wouldn't expect it to be a flawless process. In fact, if it was, I would think that we probably
missed something.
Yeah. So,
but flawless, it wasn't flawless. We had the normal hiccups.
Right, nothing.
Oh, this isn't going to work in this area. What else are you thinking? Right. Yeah.
But it was always very solution oriented. It wasn't just, hey, here's a problem, you're just going to have to deal with it. It was, here's a problem, what about this? Can we try that? Hey, we thought about this. And then there was even times where, we'd say, no, those don't work, and we're stuck. And an hour later, we would get another solution. So it didn't end until we found what we were looking for. So it was very refreshing in that sense.
Yes, it will be kind of awkward for us when the sales house isn't there anymore, because my son, every time we walk by, he wants to go and visit Sherry and go grab a snack. So with the sales office gone, it'll be different. But we love our house. We're very appreciative of McKelvey and the home that we live in.
And we are unpaid spokespeople.